The indigenous Ayurvedic medical system in Sri Lanka has a centuries-old history. It goes back to the ages of Pulatisi sage even before the Ravana era. Sri Lankans have been taking these indigenous medical treatments at their ailments for thousands of years. It was the indigenous Ayurvedic medical system that prevailed in Sri Lanka until the introduction of the Western medical system, which was brought after the British invasion in 1815 AD. But the Ayurvedic medical system has been in practice from the period before Christ by way of either oral tradition or documentation. It was mostly a hereditary practice, or the practice was passed over to the son from his father. The Rajasekara medical generation is also one of the ancient medical generations in Sri Lanka. The history of this generation also runs back to the Ravana period. Therefore, the physician from this generation was subsequently chosen as the family doctor by King Sitavaka Rajasingha, who ruled the country from 1581 AD to 1592 AD. When the history of the recent century is considered, their distinctive talents and achievements are manifested. Specialist Dr. G.L. Rajasekara is the current chairman of the Rajasekara Indigenous Ayurvedic Burns Hospital. His father is Mr. S.D.L. Rajasekara. His father was also a physician. He was Mr. Louis Rajasekara. And his father was the physician Don Juan Rajasekara. Dr. S.D.L. Rajasekara took precedence in incorporating the thermal burns subject to the Colombo Ayurvedic Teaching Hospital, which is a government hospital. He also acted as the specialist physician in charge of the thermal burns section of that hospital. Now, the physician in charge of that section is the current chairman of the Rajasekara Hospital. Specialist Dr. S.D.L. Rajasekara worked in particular with Western medical practitioners such as Dr. Artigala, Dr. Navaratna and Dr. Bibile in 1960s, and was able to confirm that indigenous medical treatments were the most successful treatments for thermal burns. Even those Western medical practitioners accepted this fact. The Rajasekara medical generation has demonstrated their exceptional talents in treating thermal burns in particular. And the service of this generation is further extended by the Rajasekara Burns Hospital. The Rajasekara Ayurvedic Hospital provides treatments for all types of ailments, and it holds a specialty in some types of diseases and areas. It should be specially mentioned that the hospital provides treatments successfully to ailments that appear on the surface of the body, as well as the conditions that occur inside the body. These are the services rendered at the Rajasekara Ayurvedic Burns Hospital. Treatments for pediatrics, treatments for women's diseases and sexual diseases, treatments for eye diseases, treatments for snake bites, treatments for boils, wounds and cancers, treatments for fractures and dislocations, treatments for psychological disorders, treatments for skin diseases including thermal burns, and treatments for all types of diseases. This hospital that provides medical facilities for all types of ailments is widely popular for its successful treatments for thermal burns. The number of people who come to the Rajasekara Hospital daily is an evidence for this fact. This person had been severely injured by catching up in a fire. That accident had taken place 15 days before this shoot. He had been taken to a government hospital immediately after the injury for regular treatments. He had been given Western medical treatments and he had been admitted for only 1 day. He was disappointed of that treatment on the very first day. A friend whom he had met in the hospital had instructed him to be admitted to the Rajasekara Burns Hospital. He had come to the Rajasekara Thermal Burns Hospital accordingly. After being admitted to the Rajasekara Hospital, he had been receiving proper treatments. Doctors and employees at the Rajasekara Hospital prepared medicine by taking suitable proportions of roots, bulbs, barks and leaves from herbal plants found from the wood. Some of the medicine were orally taken drinks. Some others were applied on the skin. It is quite extraordinary that these ointments are applied by the doctors themselves and not by any other nurses or employees. Another speciality is that the doctors use their bare fingertips without wearing any gloves to apply them. These doctors mention that they can have a correct assessment of the depth and extent of the burns by doing so only. The doctors cannot come to any accurate decision by conducting examinations of the wounds by another person or doing it by a machine. Another difference in the medical treatments provided by the Rajasekara Hospital is not bathing the patient in fresh water. When a patient with burns is bathed, air is easily passed into the inside of the flesh. Then the flesh is made hard as the way it was, and at the end the wound is healed. But the skin is made hard and the deformity still remains. In the Western medical system, burn patients are bathed and their wounds are cleared every day. But at the Rajasekara Hospital, this is not done as they need to heal the patient without any deformity. Doctors at the Rajasekara Hospital do not remove the skin of the patient and they apply treatments on the surface of the skin. Another specialty is that an Ayurvedic oil is coated on the skin. When this oil coat is on the skin, it prevents infections of the wounds by way of any worms or flies, which is a very common condition with burn patients. But the patients in this hospital are fortunate enough to be free from this type of issues due to this special oil applied on them. This is Mr. Roshan. He had been burnt by the drop of sulfuric acid on his whole body. He also had taken Western medical treatments at first and then had come to the Rajasekara Hospital.
At the Western Medical Hospital, from where I took treatments earlier, I was bathed by running water. The skin is cleared every day. The wounds were healed after some days of treatments. But I am now deformed and disfigured. There is an embossed flesh developed on my regular skin. But the previous hospital could not do any treatment to my leg. Therefore, the leg was not deformed as such. I took treatment to my leg from the Rajasekara Hospital. Now I am taking treatments from the Rajasekara Hospital to correct the deformities and disfigurements in my body. If I had come to this hospital from the very beginning, I could have taken treatments for my burns without any deformity. It is a big loss to me.
Some people abroad who had got to know about the treatment at the Rajasekara Hospital come there from abroad. Mr. Kumara had been burned when he was in the United Arab Emirates. He had taken Western medical treatments from there and his plight is quite visible.
when came in this Ayurveda hospital, actually I am satisfied because when we get treatment and modern treatment, not like this very fastly coming okay my skin because before very uh, big extra additional skin, but now is coming okay normal skin. So that's why I am satisfied than modern treatment.
A new layer of flesh is not developed on the skin of patients by the treatments at the Rajasekhar hospital, and there is medical reasons for this condition. That is, these doctors keep the burned skin as a cover to protect the natural oil layer in the skin. The natural skin is grown inside gradually and the burned skin is removed afterwards. Therefore, the fresh skin can face the pressure that comes from the environment, and it also prevents any extra growth of skin, which means that there is no deformity occurred on the skin.
I am Upul Kumara. I was burnt by an oil pump which was heated for about 260 degrees. I was provided with very good treatments at the Rajasekhar hospital. I am now fully recovered. It is very special that I am healed with no deformity at all. I did not have any hope to live before, but now I am thankful to these doctors for not only giving me the hope to live, but also fully recovering me to normalcy.
දැන් මම සම්පූර්ණ සුවය ලබලා තියෙනවා මේ තත්ත්වෙ වෙනකොට. අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම කියන දෙවියෝ කියන්නේ මේ තමයි දෙවියෝ.
The gentleman we spoke firstly is very much recovered now. He is now ready to have a bath after a number of days. He is not bathed in fresh water but in a mild hot water prepared by mixing fresh water and hot water together. This gentleman can leave hospital after taking the new treatment given after bathing him for a couple of days. But the doctors are always very attentive of the conditions that could occur in their patients. The type of applied oil is different according to the each stage of healing of the wounds. For example, the oil applied when there are deep burns is not used when the skin color is gained. There are different types of oils for those treatment. Rajasekhar Hospital provides medicine not only for the body of the patient but also for his psychology. They conduct traditional spells and charms and traditional healing processes. Burn patients can have an effect from the spirits, and a patient can suffer from severe pain, burning sensation, vomiting and constipation. At the same time, they can have nightmares, insomnia, bloating, hiccups and plaque on their tongues. The traditional healing rituals are conducted to heal the mental condition of the patients while providing treatments to these conditions. They have also been effective.
जनमन जनहित कांदनि सागर परहित नीरत गुणंत गुणं हरिजन गण गज कुंभरि धारण शोभन केसर राज सम.
These doctors have thought about the need to provide treatments to patients who are unable to come to the hospital. Likewise, they have produced an ointment for burn patients. This can be immediately applied for a burn that happens at home, workplace, or any other place. Another special feature about this hospital is their provision of treatments to any person who are either able or unable to come to them. The chief physician of the Rajasekhara Burns Hospital, who is concerned about each and every one of them, is honoured by some persons as a god on earth. The chief physician says with great respect and pride that this hospital, which provides treatment for all diseases, is capable of providing treatment to any burnt patient.
මේ ආයුර්වේද වෛද්‍ය කර්මයේ සහ දේශීය විදකම කියන අතර දෙකක් තියෙනවා. ආයුර්වේද ඉන්දියාවෙන් ආපු වෛද්‍ය කර්මයේ තියෙනවා. ලංකාවේ රාවණා යුගයටත් පෙර පුලතිසි ඍෂිවරයාගේ පටන්.
Our indigenous medical generation has a long history. We can treat any patient burned by anything, and we can treat any area of the body. Sometimes we have received heart patients and diabetic patients also. They also can get treatments without any difficulty. In Western medical system, if an eye is burnt, that eye is removed. We do not do that. We heal that eye. Only 50% of burn patients are recovered by taking Western medical treatments. That again is with scars and blemishes. But according to our system, patients are fully recovered with no scars or any deformities. I can guarantee on that.
රෝගියෙක් කෙරෙහි වැඩි අවධානය වැඩි වගකීම දැරීමට සූදානම් විය යුතුයි.
This person who had trusted this assurance and had taken treatment at the Rajasekhara Hospital is now completely healed. Now he is ready to leave the hospital and return home. But the statement he made on the early days when he was undergoing treatment should be remembered.
Small girl over 20 or 21. She took me to the hospital, and in the hospital I was given a bath, and after that, of course, they gave me saline, and I was on a stretcher towards a bed when my missus and other people came to see me. Then I came to know that it is pointless, or it was pointless to stay there for any remedial measures. A certain person had told my people to remove me from the hospital and take me to an Ayurvedic doctor. And he had told that there is a certain doctor who is very well known in the island, especially for burns. That is one, Mr. Rajasekhara or Dr. Rajasekhara. Straight away we came to Dr. Rajasekhara's place, that is the place that I am speaking here now. When you compare the first day and the fourth day today, I see that there is a very quick progress and I am recovering. I am happy to say that I have been lucky enough to be brought over here and to be under treatment from Dr. Rajasekhara and others. They have been treating me, dressing me up, my wounds and everything, and even they had foregone their breakfast, even the doctor. Actually speaking, a place like this, especially for burns, should be introduced to these people, our people. These are great, I can't say actually they are doctors. They are in Sinhala you call Rishivaru, gods of gods. So I am quite sure consequences or the way that he treats the patient is marvelous. Very, very commendable. Nobody can compete. Western treatment is okay, but especially for this burns and this type of thing, of course, I don't think the Western treatment will help. So I am happy that I have been here, I have been brought here.
He who gave up all hopes in life after the burns is now having a happiness that he cannot express in words. He returns home as a newborn. Tears came to his eyes as if expressing his everlasting gratitude to the doctors in this hospital.